It took me 26 years to love myself in a way. I've been in the Swiss Alps for 4 years now, in Zermatt exactly, in Switzerland. And I'm leaving in 2 days after 4 years here, which I don't really realize right now. It's kind of a crazy feeling. 4 years is the longest time I spent in one place in my whole life, actually. And somehow was the best thing I did for myself. My comfort zone was in moving all the time, traveling, changing countries, meeting new people. I was always moving, always, always, always. And staying in one place somehow was the hardest thing for me. So I choose to do it because more often than not, the hard choice is usually the right choice. If something is hard, if there is tension somewhere, it means there is a work to do there. That's how I like to approach things right now. So I give it a shot. Even though it's super hard, I spent 4 years in Zermatt with obviously some break in the middle, and a lot of things change. The person I was when I arrived in Zermatt and the person I am today are really, really far away from each other in a good way. I grew up in French Guiana. My dad is from French Guiana, my mom is from France in Brittany, and I grew up there. It's close to Brazil. It's a little country that is French. And I grew up there for 10 years. I had a pretty good childhood. And when I was 10, my mom moved back to France, and we moved back with my brother in France for about 8 years until I was 18. And you know, it started as I was always doing sport somehow. I was doing scooter riding, like freestyle, going to the snow park, skate park, sorry. So I was pretty active, and then I discovered weed, alcohol, cigarettes, the party, all the fun things that you discover when you're young, and I did like it. So I did participate to that for quite a bit. And this was the start of my partying journey, I guess. It was fun, for sure. No doubt about that. I don't regret anything. But what I did is that I left France. I was partying a bit too hard, rave party every weekend, a lot of drugs and a lot of, just like really disconnected from myself. It helped me somehow to go dance and feel free in the dance floor, but in the long term it was destructing. I was really destructing myself. And so this was my first chapter, I guess, where I realized I was doing something terrible for myself. And I remember one day I came back to my mom in the summer, and I look myself in the mirror and I look sick. I was like yellowish somehow. Just look sick, and it was the middle of summer, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing, you know? And it was really like a wake-up call. It sounds cliche, you know, like this vision of yourself in the mirror, and you look at yourself and like things comes to you. But it was really like that. And from that, I wanted to stop going to rave party. So which I did, but all my friends was still going there. So I didn't see my friend for a long time. And this was the first time I learned that your environment and the people you with influence you a lot. And I decided to stop that. And it was my choice. I didn't want to put anyone with my choice. Like, if you want to do it, do it. I just don't want to do it anymore. And so, yeah, it was the first thing where I was like, I cannot do it anymore. And somehow I quit that. I was still partying, but just less hard. And then my friend kind of followed after that. after maybe 6 months or something like that. And I was just tired of being in France and everything. It was like a loop, you know, drinking, always the same people. And yeah, I didn't feel good as well. Like all my relationship failed somehow. So I decided to move to Dublin with a friend. I moved to Dublin when I was 19. I didn't speak English. I had, I think, 2,000 euro on my bank account. I worked double job all the summer to save that. That was the most money I make so far in my life. And I moved to Dublin. I was super scared. It was the scariest thing ever. I give back my apartment in France, and then I came back to my mom, and then I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I was kind of scared. No job, no nothing. Like it was like a jump into the unknown. And as soon as the plane landed, I literally, like the plane landed, and all this anxiousness, all this stress just went away, and it was just excitement. And from there, I find a job in the first week. I work in the same restaurant for like about a year and a half. I save up money. I think I saved 12,000 euro in a year and a half, which for me was a lot of money. I was 20 years old maybe. And so with another friend, we decided to go to Thailand. And we take a one-way ticket to Thailand with no plan, no plan to come back. We didn't really know what we wanted to do. We did plan to come back maybe after a few months, but anyway, we arrived to Thailand. And we ended up spending 5 months in Asia. So we did Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, which was amazing. Like going somewhere with no return debt, no job, just like yourself, and exploring the world when you're like 20, 21 years old was like the best thing ever. And somehow we ended up depressed because we were just partying again. We're just drinking beer, partying, and doing nothing, no plan. No plan is good, but after a while it just become nonsense. Like you're just turning around, and ended up bad with some bad relationship. I will not go into details, but just with my friend, we had this little beef. And so we decided to go back to take an Australian visa. And we arrived in Australia, in Melbourne. It was super rainy. It was super rainy. So we stayed 2 weeks or 1 week in Melbourne. We partying a lot again. My life was a lot of party. And after 2 weeks of party, almost broke, not much money anymore. We decided to fly to Brisbane, but because it was sunny there. And Brisbane, we spent like 6 months there, find a job. Eventually met my ex-girlfriend, which was my first serious relationship. That taught me a lot, actually. So yeah, it was my first relationship. I learned a lot. I was very avoidant. That was myself. So yeah, thinking I'm better off alone, very avoidant, always moving, never attached to anything. That was the way I live. Not by choice, but by default. I think this was my protective system. So I don't really get attached to anything, so I don't get hurt also. But if you don't want to get attached to anything, you don't get hurt, but you also don't feel anything, which was not a good thing as well. I believe in life there is a broad spectrum of emotion, and I was basically there, maybe like this. So no high, no low, not very excited, not very sad, just like whatever, you know. I'm in Australia, it's nice. I'm traveling in a van, it's nice. But not overly excited and never overly sad, which kind of helped me in a way, but we will talk to this again later. But in the long term, it just doesn't work. So yeah, we ended up, my ex was from New Zealand, so we ended up going to New Zealand. I landed in New Zealand, next day was COVID. So we got locked up in New Zealand. I was supposed to go to New Zealand for a month, and go back to France for the summer, which didn't happen. Ended up buying a van during COVID on Facebook Marketplace. It was like $5,000, like Austrian dollar, which is super cheap. Text the guy's like, oh, it's already gone, like somebody's taking it. I said, I give you 6,000, and he said yes. So I bought the van, I bought my first van, and we traveled New Zealand for a year and a half, surfing. It's a pretty good life, to be honest. When I look back, I think I had a very good life. But when I was doing it, I was not that excited about it, or I don't know, I just wanted to go back to France, and I was never in the moment. I was always wanting something else, like something better and stuff. So I didn't truly enjoy what I was doing all the time. I was not enough present with myself, in a way. And yeah, then we went back to Australia, worked a bit for a year, and then went back to France after 4 years of travel. So I went back home after 4 years of travel with my ex now. And while I was traveling, I always miss my friend in France. And the thing when you travel is that you change a lot and you will miss home. But when you're gonna go home, you're gonna realize that nothing has changed, including your friend. And this is very hard to accept, but it's just the way it is. And until I came back, I was just craving to go back home. So I was not even present on my travel. I was always like, oh, I want to see my friend, I want to leave, I want to go back to France, blah, blah, blah. Which I did. And the reality was shocking, to say the least. I went back to France and I was like, what am I doing here? This is not for me anymore, this is too much. I was going into the same group of people, and it was like when I was 18, a lot of drugs for no reason, a lot of nonsense, everybody lost also. I was also lost, but at a different level, I guess. And yeah, the relationship went pretty bad over the summer. Ended up breaking up at the end of the summer, which bring me to Zermatt. I needed money, I wanted to snowboard, and I thought Switzerland was a good shot. And I ended up in Zermatt. And I'm leaving in 2 days, which is crazy. But Zermatt is a very special place for me, because you're surrounded by mountain, as you can see, and you're at the end of a valley. And the metaphor I like, it's that I arrive at the end of this valley and I have nowhere to go. And I need to face myself, There is nowhere to go. And it was the turning point for me. When I arrived, I was partying as well, 3 times a week, coming home at 6 a.m., going back to work, going back again on the same day. It was heavy, which ended up costing my health in a way. I always love sports, surf, snowboard, biking, whatever, all the extreme stuff. I like it. So I was always partying, but I was also doing sport, but not going to the gym, just more freestyle sport, which are free, and a lot of time I do this when I'm hungover because I'm partying too much. So yeah, the next summer is actually up and there in the Riffelalp. I drive my downhill bike and I crash really bad, really, really bad. An helicopter picked me up. I spent 2 days in the hospital. I have a hole in my hips. You could see my bone. My hand is broken. And after these 2 days, I go back home and I remember really, again, it was this moment that is shocking for me, or this reality slap a bit, where I'm on my bed and I took literally 20 minutes to turn to eat. I'm on my bed and I took 20 minutes to switch side, like 20 minutes to switch side because I was so much in pain. And I told myself, I was like, I never want to feel like that again, really. I never want to feel like that again. Because so far, I always skip the injury. Somehow, I skip it, you know. But this time, I didn't skip it. So I was in my home for a month and a half, basically. And that gave me a lot of time to think about what I was doing with my life, with my relationship, with my work, with like what I want to do with my life. And I was working as a chef. So far, it was probably like 6 years or 7 years. But I didn't want to do that all my life. And it was this turning point, okay, like I don't want to do this anymore. What should I do? It's very comfortable here because I make money, I can travel in between seasons, which is a bit of a golden jail because it's really nice. You can have a really nice life, but you can get stuck there as well, and I didn't want to get stuck there. So I was like, I need to make money by myself, which I was trying by any means. I tried trading, cryptos, I tried drop shipping, we tried to make a clothing brand with a friend. Nothing worked. And when I look back to it, I don't regret to try it all. I lose a lot of money in crypto. I ended up losing $15,000 before I quit it. And all I was talking was about money. I need to make money, I need to quit my job, I need to make money. Which turned out it was the wrong thing to look at, you know. It's like I don't need to make money, I need to find something that I want to do that is meaningful to me and to other people as well. I need to find like my purpose. Like what is my purpose? Why I'm here on earth, you know? What's my mission? That was the big question after chasing money, was like stop chasing money and chase purpose, mission. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Like what's exciting? What talks to me, you know? And this was the big question. So I started to question myself what I want to do. And the first thing I did was to reconnect with my body. I was going to the gym when I was injured and I couldn't walk. The only thing that kept me sane was going to the gym every morning. I couldn't do everything, but I was doing religiously every morning, going to the gym, kind of make me sane. I have a structure in my life, and then so I keep that after as well. And after about, I think after a good 6 months, I started to see results. Like it was working. I started to have a body that I like as well. And then again, I injured myself again the next winter. And this was really like, all right, it was the last call for me because I was still in between. Like I was going to the gym, but I was still partying, I was still getting fucked up. I was still doing stuff I didn't want to do, but I was doing it, you know, and then regret it and just going back to the whole loop. Like I think it's normal. Like when you start to change, you will always come back to your old self. Just like testing you a bit, like it's testing you, like do you really want that? Do you really want to get out of that? And the more you go back, the more you understand you don't want to do it, the better it is. And then until one point you're really gonna go back and be like, fuck this, I don't want to do this anymore. And you will have normal pull to your old self, but this will take times. So this injury really like was the last goal. And again, it took me a lot of time to think, and I doubled down on the gym. I was going even more, and I started to do things that I never did. I was like, if I want a different life, I need to do something different every day. I cannot keep repeating the same life, keep repeating the same action and expect a different outcome in a way. So this was what the mentality, like, all right, I'm just gonna do something different all the time. Going to the gym, try to don't drink, you know, try to, I don't know, do things alone, just like doing things on my own, even if no one is there for me. I'm just gonna show up for myself and I'm gonna do it for me and stop doing things for others, like stop going out because people want me there, but just like doing things for myself, for like the person I want to be later, and just take care of myself, you know. And in between all of these, this relationship, you know, I always date girls and had short relationship. Nothing worked. I always thought that it was just not the girl for me and anything like that, which turned out not to be true until last year, where I met this girl, and it was very different, you know. Like, I just see myself differently, and I see that I was a problem. Like, I couldn't be in a relationship because I was avoidant with myself, with people, with my friend as well. I was just avoiding everything. And it's hard to realize that. It's hard to accept that you are wrong. And you've been wrong for a long time. I look back to all my relationship and I was like, fuck, I was the problem, or I was wrong. Obviously there's two people involved, but I was never putting myself in question until last year. And this was really like a switching period. And at the same time, I start to make content. I start to create more. It was both related, and thanks to this person, because she pushed me to make content, because it was the hardest thing for me to do. I always care way too much about what people think. So making content was the ultimate things for me, and the scariest thing I could do for myself. And again, the hard choice, usually the right one. So I posted my first video. It was just about fitness, really. When I look back to it, it was terrible. But your first thing will never be your last thing. And I learned a lot. I posted about 60 videos on another account. 60 reels. I got 180 followers, mostly my friend. But I learned a lot, and it was such a different things, because I create something. Every day I create, and my mind was in creative mode. Like, I was going in the mountain, filming, like editing at home, finding good music, and every day I wanted to create. So I was working as well, full-time as a chef, which I don't mind. I like to cook, but eventually I don't want to do this all my life. And so like creating every day was like a path for me to like, I was learning, I was progressing towards something every day. So it was so liberating in a way, because I was like, oh, I'm getting better at that. That's why I understand that you need a progression. You need to progress in your life. Anything it could be a sport, art, reading a book, learning a language, anything you need every day, every week, every year, every month, getting better at something that you like, you know, and just enjoy the process. Because if you're repeating the same thing over and over, you're just gonna be depressed in a way. Like, I think we're meant to evolve as human, and you cannot get stuck into something and just expect to feel good about it. Like, you need to find things to improve on. It could be at work, it could be like anything in your life, but you need to progress. That's how it is. And this really helped me to create. But I didn't know what I was doing. I was just doing it because I love it. I love to film, I love to edit, I love to get good image, you know. And so I did it for about 6 months without result. Like, the account didn't grow, but I was fine because it was my first project and I didn't mind. Like, I just love, like, I was creating for myself more than for anything else. And by creating, I also reconnect with myself a lot, you know, like just looking at yourself, listening to yourself all the time. It kind of makes you accepting who you are for who you are. Like, I'm told, I don't know, there was part of me that I didn't like, and just by creating and just listen back to yourself, watching yourself in a way, it really helped to reconnect with yourself and with your body and with every part of you. And then the fact that you posted afterwards, you start to don't give a fuck about what people think. And most people are very kind, you know, they support you. And the one that don't care, and you will never see it and never heard about it. So yeah, I learned to love myself. I learned to reconnect with my emotion and a lot of things, you know, like, and at the same time I was going to the gym. And after about a year and a half, I look in the mirror again and I was like, fuck, like, I have the physique I dream of, in a way. And I had this click again, I was like, wait, I just spent a year at the gym with consistency, and that's the result? Like, I have the body that I dream of, you know? And this again was another moment where I was like, wait, if I just show up for a year, I will get results. Not at the gym, not at anything I do, basically. So this was such a big lesson for me. So when I see that, it was the moment I start to make content. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this for a year and I see where it goes. It's gonna be bad on the beginning, but if I keep doing it for a year, like, something will happen. So this started to be my way out of being a chef. And that's what I was thinking. I was like, what I want to do with my life. And I like to get better with myself, self-improvement. I like to film, I like to be creative as well. So like this kind of makes sense in a way. And so I started to create for 6 months, and the account didn't work. I stopped it for a little while. I stopped to make videos for a month, I think. And then I went to Cape Town on the holidays. And I was like, okay, I went there to figure out what I wanted to do, because as I say, I got 1 more year. In the meanwhile, at my job, I signed up for 1 year. So I commit for 1 more year. And this year finishing now, right now, yesterday actually. And so I give myself 1 year. 1 year in Zermatt to do my things, figure out what I want to do. And after the winter, I will leave with something, hopefully, which I do now. So yeah, I was in Cape Town. And so I create this new account and I tell no one, because I didn't want anyone to, I just want to be free to create whatever I wanted. So I create this account and I was like, what I want to do, you know, like, and I wanted to share what I learned during all these years to reconnect myself with my body, with my mind, and just like build a life that I don't need to escape from, you know. I don't need to get drunk, I don't need to take drugs, I don't need to go party and lose myself, because I want my life, everything I do goes into one direction. So like my nutrition goes, like I have a goal which is there with a lot of things inside. And I want my life to go towards that. And I enjoy the process. I don't want to feel it's hard. I want everything to be easy. And that I love doing it, you know, like I believe like the best result you will have is where you design a life that gives you the result you want. So like if you want a good body, for example, if I want to stay lean, my lifestyle keep me lean. I don't force. I just love to be outside. I love to walk. I love to snowboard. I love to surf. I love to do sport. I love to eat healthy. So like it's not hard to be lean, you know? At the beginning it is, but like when your lifestyle is centered toward that goal and you love that lifestyle, everything becomes easier. I love to create, so I don't mind spending 8 hours editing a video. I love to film, I love, you know, it's like everything. I love to learn new things, so I don't mind working on something for myself after work and stuff. And so I start to like design my life around the things I love and the things that I want to be, like the person I want to be. What is this person doing? What I do every day, like what's my day, you know, what I work on and stuff. And so this account I started on this thing, you know, like I want to share my journey authentically, what I learn, and give back to people what I learn my way, you know. Like I think we can all learn from each other because we all been into things and we all learn things from that, you know. So I started to document basically, and yeah, it was a crazy journey. So after about maybe 9 months of making content and another account, this account actually worked. And when I came back from Cape Town in December, I got 187 followers. And now, as today, we are about 47,000, which is insane, really. And it happened all during this winter season when I was working full time. And I was working full time, making videos, come back home, editing, and just I did this for like 3 months. And it paid, you know, like it was hard. Like sometimes, I don't know, it was just a lot of work, but I never felt I didn't want to do it. It was always very natural. That's what I need to do. That's what I asked for. So like just doing it, you know. And so I did it, and yeah, it was a crazy journey. And it was just to prove that, again, if you keep doing something, even though like you start something, doesn't mean it's the final thing you're gonna do. Like I did multiple accounts, multiple try. I was doing traveling things, like a lot of different stuff. And to ended up here, you know, after, now it's been a year. I'm leaving Zermatt in 2 days. Yeah, with 47,000 followers. I help people, you know, I create this reset in February and March. We got over like 50 people around 30 days. It was like a sort of reset for 30 days to build better habits and understand where you get stuck and why, and just like being a bit more aware of like what you do in your life and how it affects you and your goal, and maybe understand what do you want before trying to change everything. Like what do you want deeply and why you want that. I think it's a big thing. So I tried to share that, and yeah, and I was making content, working full time as a chef, running a group call every Sunday and on the chat as well. And it was a lot of work. I was not sleeping for 3 months. I was sleeping about 6 hours a night, and it was hard. It was really hard. My sleep was terrible. My mind was just into that. So I wake up in the night and just have ideas and like for making content and stuff, which really helped into that. So yeah, this is, and now I'm just quitting my job and leaving Zermatt and want to do this full time, you know, like because that's what I love to do, and see where this thing goes. So that's again another chapter after Zermatt. And yeah, a lot of things change. I stopped drinking as well in November. This was the best decision ever in my life. But that's a bit the story, you know. From many places to Zermatt, to reconnect with myself, finding something I love to do, and that's why I create this channel, you know. And this community is to reconnect with yourself, with your mind, with your body, understand what you want, what you don't want, why do you want it, and like help you getting there, you know. Finding meanings, finding direction in your life, building a life you don't need to escape from, you know. Like every day you wake up and that's what you want to do. And the result is just a byproduct of your lifestyle, you know. For me, that's life, you know. A meaningful, I wake up, I have a mission, I love what I do, and everything I do give me the result I want. So yeah, all my goals, all my results, all the things I want is just a byproduct of my lifestyle. So it's like easy mode, you know. It's hard, obviously, you need to work, but that's building a life you don't need to escape from. And that's, I think, the motto, you know, for myself. Designing a life, designing your life. Understand what you're good at, what you're not good at, how to get there, how do you, just like a whole thing as a whole. Is not just the body, it's not just the mind, it's not just direction in your life, it's all together. And we go all in one direction. And when you get all this together, things are way easier. And you start to attract everything you want, you know. That's building a life you don't need to escape from. Thank you for watching, and I see you around.